Alright, today on the channel we are going to be fixing the 1986 C10. We have an issue with the wheel bearings. They are howling and it's not good. TX2K is coming up. This is not fast enough to even consider racing, but I want to take it to some of the car shows. So we're going to be doing the inner and the outer wheel bearing, as well as the outer grease seal. So that way it stays nice and clean inside. So today I'm going to show you exactly how you do that. Let's go.
Step number one is while the car is on the ground, you're going to go ahead and loosen the lug nuts so they're only hand tight. The next step is to safely lift the car, place it on jack stands, and then go ahead and remove the lug nuts on the tire that you loosened previously. After that, place the tire under the vehicle just in case. The next step is going to be to take a clamp and compress the brake caliper. This will allow you to easily get the caliper off. After compressing the caliper, you then need to remove the caliper mounting bolts. On a two-wheel drive C10, you do not have to worry about a caliper mounting bracket, but you do have to remove the caliper. Make sure to hang it so it's out of the way and not pulling on a brake line. And then proceed to check for play in the wheel bearing. As you'll see in just a moment, there was plenty in this one.
There is play, and this is why you can actually hear it. That's why we're replacing this wheel bearing, is because of the play and the noise. This wheel bearing's no good anymore.
The next step is going to be to remove the dust cover. So you can take a chisel and work your way around in order to pop the cover out. It's good to not damage them. Dust covers are pretty cheap, but it's still, another $10 to $15 you don't have to spend if you don't mess it up. So after getting the dust cover off, you're going to see a large nut there. You can't get the nut out until you pull the cotter pin. So first, pull the cotter pin, then you can remove the nut. Now, this was an interesting case because as you saw, the clunking, that was caused because this particular wheel bearing was not tight. Interestingly enough, I pulled the cotter pin out and started playing with the nut to get it off, and it was so loose. After tightening, there was no longer any more clunk or anything, and the truck has been driving and been absolutely fine since then. It also stopped making the noise. Now, the other side was in fact destroyed. The other wheel bearing was howling and just having the worst time. And as soon as I replaced that one, it stopped. This one, all I had to do was tighten it, which is something that I have personally not encountered before. But I guess it happens.
Wow, that fixed the problem. It was literally just loose. I guess I'm going to put it back together and go on about my day. Once you have the brake rotor off, you want to get your other two bearings out. You're also going to have to drive out your grease seal right there. Then you're going to need to drive in your new race and pack your new bearings. And your new bearings are packed like this. You basically rotate it through your hand and use the palm of your hand to force grease in between the inner and outer race. So that way it rolls nicely. As you can see, there's a bearing that's been done. And there are the old bearings. Alright, so to give an update on the wheel bearing, it's been great. Tightening it up was in fact the solution, surprisingly enough. I didn't think it would be, but it's fixed it. I did replace that side, and the other side was the side I did first. So I'm going to tell y'all a general idea of how you would actually finish the job since you didn't get to see me complete it. I did show how to pack the wheel bearings by rubbing them into your hand. What you didn't see was after you pull that nut off, there's literally just a washer, and the whole rotor comes off, and the bearings are inside, one inside the front and one inside the rear, with that grease seal around it. pull those bearings out and replace them, put it back on, tighten it as you saw me do. And if you can't quite get it tight because the cotter pin's in a weird way or you can't get it in the hole, just take it, put the cotter pin in, tap it with a screwdriver, you're done. So, there you go. I'm sorry I didn't have the footage. I thought I was being smart by doing one side first to make sure I could show how to do it well. But apparently I should have filmed that side because this side didn't need to be taken apart, and it's been great ever since I replaced it. Absolutely no issues. I'm very happy with it. So, thank you for tuning in. And feel free to join me next time whenever we do even more things to this truck or one of my other vehicles. Thanks.